Yeah, my mum saw that and she was like, Jamie, I want that pink suit. And I was like, Mum, I'll get you that pink suit and you rock it.
Yeah.
Even with the cutouts and the boobs out. If that's what you want to do, you do it.
Hey guys, we're Zack and Jamie and we are reviewing Little Mix's most iconic looks throughout the time that we worked with them. How would you describe it? I'd say eclectic.
I was going to say the same thing. Each of them have a different style, but we do something to make it all fit together. So eclectic is probably the perfect describing word.
Oh, shout out to my X Factor 2016. The first live performance that we did with Little Mix.
Caused a lot
memories?
Of controversy, this look. So it was the first live performance that we did. The tabloids dubbed them as prostitutes, which was not very fair. But we thought it was appropriate stage wear. Beyonce wouldn't do any different. And they were happy and they looked really good.
Definitely a learning curve. One of the first jobs that we did with the girls, well, the first live performance, we turned up with no backup or spare options and no seamstress. We learnt our lesson. Never again. Brit Awards.
Brit Awards.
2017, first Brit Awards we did with the girls. I think one of our proudest moments.
For sure.
One of the most stressful moments. We had a designer lined up to do the costumes, had the meetings, and I think it's probably like 5 days before the actual performance the designer pulled out and we had no looks.
We built this relationship, had loads of conversations, and it got to a certain point and he pulled out. And we pulled it together last minute with Zygmunt, who we use a lot for tour.
Ever since this one. I think he turned this out in like 2 days. He made them in Croatia, a bit of a language barrier to begin with. Obviously he didn't know the girls, but I think he got them spot on from the briefs that we gave him.
And then on the actual performance, the day of, we were told that they go on a scissor lift.
Like a platform, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that you had to sort out a hole for the connection to hold them.
Like rig the harness.
And so that was interesting as well. And it actually didn't go right on the dress run. They couldn't get them clipped on time. And we only had one dress run. So me and
the
Zack,
girls didn't actually practice it.
Yeah, we were very scared. But it worked and it was great.
No More Sad Songs video 2017. I think this is probably my favourite video in terms of like fondest memories. Like the most enjoyable to be on set.
Yeah, and I think in terms of like beauty and like how they all look collectively, I think it's one of my favourites as well. It was just a really good day. We didn't have many wardrobe dramas this day, although Perry decided to change, which I was low-key glad about because I was trying to push these snakeskin trousers constantly and she just didn't seem that fussed over them. Yeah, then she saw herself on camera and she was like, no, I want to change. And I was just like, we still have these. And then she changed and it looks great. Power 2017.
This was probably my most stressed music video.
Really?
Well, because I feel like we didn't have a brief. There was just like, just dress them, I guess, as their character, as their vibe. Like, we didn't really know where we were going with it. And the girls were already in America on tour with Ariana Grande. So we literally just prepped here, flew out with, I think, probably like 30 suitcases.
However, in terms of looks, I feel like this is one of our best jobs that we've done actually on a music video.
Yeah.
I think overall the concept of the video and the lighting and everything works so well together. I enjoy everybody's look in this video. There's not one thing that I think is weaker than the other. I think everybody is just, I think this is where they really elevated in terms of style.
I remember Leigh-Anne had so much fun on this video.
Yeah.
Do you remember she got involved, like she's got a girl going on the street when she's doing her catwalk and she got involved in their styling and went to their fittings.
Those pink boots were fantastic.
Well, those pink boots were a gamble that Leigh-Anne's wearing because we initially showed her and she said no, right? She wasn't sure on them. They were a lot of money because it would have taken up the budget. But we were like, no, honestly, like it's a look. You should definitely try it. We bought them, not with 100% of her approval, and she loved it. Brit Awards Red Carpet 2018. I love this look.
Okay. I know that sounds like I don't like it. I do really like it.
No, I do really like
I'm
it.
just like, why do you like it?
I don't know, because I guess they don't necessarily, it's not cohesive, but I like the colour palette. I feel that they look grown.
It's very grown up, and I think it was different to what we did the year before. We tried to do something that was still fashion forward, but a little bit more sultry, a little bit more softer, I guess, and grown up.
Yeah, I guess there's a story behind it. Like, for instance, Jade'S Dress, we actually tried on the year before, Stella McCartney. We had it as an option for, what, 2017 was it?
Yeah.
And we didn't go with it, but she loved it so much that we actually called it back in for this year, and yeah, it was perfect.
And Leigh-Anne was sceptical about wearing a dressing gown on the red carpet. Well, something that looks like a dressing gown. But it pulled off. I think that's one of my favourite red carpets for Leigh-Anne.
Jesse's is like a custom design made in leather, and she had a long coat to go with it, well, like a jacket, if you will, but decided on the spot not to wear it. Wow. This was another stressful one. I think this and Power. Do you remember? So
I think
it was
I just
5
have
looks.
like selective memory
Yeah, he
of
forgets
like,
it.
I don't really get stressed anyway, but
we got briefed 5
block
looks
out.
from the record company. We got told we were shooting it in this big house, but we got told nothing other than just do 5 fashion kind of cool looks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So we had no direction, and we were like, but what does that mean? So basically we spoke to Dolce & Gabbana. They did like an entire look, and actually, do you remember on the day when we arrived, it was like, okay, so we're doing a choreo scene, and they're going to be doing it in these outfits that we're in the library. And obviously this is the one where they're on the chairs and their legs are in the air, and we're like, well, how are they going to do that? They're in suits and dresses. So luckily, the day before, we just didn't tell anyone. And do you remember we just bought the roll necks, the knickers and the ankle boots to match the LM5 album cover?
When you're styling a girl band who does that much choreo, like you have to have a black knicker and some form of top that they can all wear in your kit, because...
So that wasn't, so that look actually wasn't thought out, it wasn't a thing.
Again, I think this is another case of us like outdoing ourselves at every time, because I really do love the looks on this video.
I like the fact that obviously, like I said, Dolce did an entire look, Henry Holland did an entire look as well, which was just off the runway. Yeah,
on a fashion level, we definitely topped ourselves in terms of like the designers that were involved in this video. And a lot of them were happy to learn and work with us on this one, so it was a good achievement for the girls and us, I think.
Yeah. Brit Awards Performance 2019. I think all I remember from this one is the girls basically saying pink snakeskin.
Yeah, so just before this outfit, we did the album launch, and it was all nude snakeskin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they loved that so much that they wanted to do a snakeskin for the performance, and yeah, we just come up with this concept, did some sketches, and yeah, so we just sketched it out, and then Richard executed it.
Well, Richard actually made the outfits, and then you remember the trench coats were made by
our seamstress Sue.
Oh God, our amazing seamstress Sue, who will come everywhere with us. The girls even call her round when we're not around, and she's amazing.
Brit Awards Red Carpet 2019.
This might be my favourite red carpet.
This is one of my favourites for sure. I do like the others just as much. I think this is like a fan favourite. I think everyone who sees the girls, who like their younger fans, wants to see them as glamorous. They really want red carpet glamour rather than maybe direct fashion. So this is like probably the most positive feedback that we've ever received in terms of the red carpet, based on the fans.
But Jessie knew off the bat straight away exactly what she wanted to do. She gave us the references.
It was actually a white dress that she wanted, but we were worried it's going to look a bit like a wedding dress. Perry always likes to be corseted.
I remember Leigh-Anne always questioning what would Aaliyah do in 2019.
Yeah, that was the vibe that she wanted to do.
Radio 1 Big Weekend 2019. How did we get to this look? I can't remember if the girls gave us... Oh, they did. They said they wanted to do neon.
Yeah, I think at this point the girls do so many performances that the brief might not necessarily be a certain thing. We just go off a colour palette and do silhouettes that the girls love. So they just told us neon green, and I think we just kind of went into a utility vibe where, you know, Jade's got loads of pockets on. Perry's got like some sort of chest rig. And then after she had it, I asked for it and said, could I wear it? And she gave it to me, so you may see me out in it. I took the green off though, so it's not recognisably hers.
I think Leigh-Anne was saying the other day when I was talking to her that this kind of look is like a very iconic kind of like typical Little Mix look.
Yeah, I think we do this a lot because it's conducive to a performance. It gives you like, the girls like to feel a bit tomboy sometimes because it gives you that attitude on stage. It allows you to move. So yeah, we go to this kind of vibe quite a lot, much to the fans' dismay.
There's just so many performances, and they can't perform in a dress. Soz, Bounce Back music video. One of my faves again, I think, for how fun it is. It feels like really David LaChapelle.
So this was just like, everything that we were doing was just trying to top it with being as crazy as possible. Hence Jessie wearing a fur hat, which was actually made out of a fur coat.
Which Sue made, I guess, wasn't it like the night before morning of?
Mm-hmm. We used the Pamela Anderson reference that we loved. And the hat that we initially called in wasn't big enough and it wasn't wow enough for a music video. And Jessie saw the purple coat on the rail and was just like, what about that? Like, let's make one out of that. And she asked for it and she got it, so.
I love how like Perry looks like a porcelain doll.
Mm-hmm.
Leigh-Anne just looks like fashion Barbie. And then Jade is padded to high heavens like a drag queen.
Yeah, she's giving me drag queen realness there.
Yeah. And then Vive Tour Alpha look, opening look. Again, like we were just saying, I feel like this is very Radio 1.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of inspired off of that.
Yeah.
It was kind of like to imitate that.
The girls loved their Radio 1 look so much, they thought that this was the most appropriate look to open with because it's a typical Little Mix look. This, for me, is, out of all the tour looks, I think, this is the hottest Jessie's ever looked. Like, I love her in this outfit.
Well, she's definitely perfected the shape that she really likes. I mean, you can't see it in this picture, but it's actually covered head to toe in black Swarovski crystal as well, just so it doesn't look too flat on stage.
Yeah. So when you see it in real life, like when you're watching it on stage, they kind of just like sparkle in the light, like a pop star should.
Yeah.
That was fun. So I guess what we're looking forward to in the future is just turning more looks with the girls. I think their style's ever evolving. We've got more tours. We've got more events, so I think...
TV show, can't wait to get
yeah, the TV, I mean, that's going to be looks coming out of our ears, so coming up with that many different concepts is going to be interesting. But yeah, I feel like just expressing ourselves creatively, I guess, and putting what's in our mind onto the girls.